Welcome in, quick hitters. 27-7. Texans lose against the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm pretty much just gonna say what DeMeco Ryan said.
It was not our brand of football.
Not our brand of football. You can pin that up. Should you be alarmed? You should be concerned. I would say that. 27-7. If it's a close game, it's really nothing to talk about here. It's the fashion they lost the ball game in. And like DeMeco Ryan said, they got out physical. You wouldn't think a DeMeco Ryan's led coach team would be out physical. That's the surprising part. When you've watched training camp, when you've been hearing about these guys flying all over the place, guys ready to hit, coming from their own mouths. And they went out there and those Chargers laid it right to them. As y'all see, we got it spotlighted up on the screen. Texans lights got turned off, but somebody lit a candle. And that little speckle of light, Davis Mills, Jared Wayne, connecting. If you want to find anything out of this game, which wasn't much, you can look at that little speckle of light. Opening drive looked real good. Davis Mills and Jared Wayne, they connected for an 11-play, 75-yard opening drive that was capped off with a 5-yard touchdown play. Just a little fade jump route. Wayne came down with it. I mean, it was just a perfect drive. That was the highlight of the night. Chargers was faster. They were quicker. They were more prepared. Look, we could be concerned, but it is preseason. Texans didn't have their starters out there on offense. Texans didn't have their starters out there on defense. But when you have high expectations of winning a Super Bowl, and every team knows this, every team knows this who's won a Super Bowl, who at least came knocking on the door to a Super Bowl, it has to filter down. Second string, third string, fourth string, it really doesn't matter. As a collective unit, as a team, even when the starters are out, even when the starters are not playing, even if it's preseason, that same level of expectation has to be there. The swarm mentality doesn't stop. And that's where the frustration comes from the head coach standpoint. Don't matter who's in there. The level of detail, aggression, has to set the bar every time, no matter who's in the ball game. No drop off. Far as effort, talent, that can be argued. Okay, you can understand talent can drop off, but that swarm mentality, that should never drop off. Flying to the football, execution. Talent is talent. And if you get your ass whipped, you get your ass whipped. But you keep coming back again. And what was stated? Not our brand of football. Simple. But there were some bright spots. There were some bright spots. Klein, he came down with a 30-yard, 31-yard reception. We just talked about Jared Wayne, who should make this team. Got to be on that roster. 4-5 receiver, whatever. He's showing you what he's got, and big receivers, gotta love them anyway. Especially when you can go up there and high point a fade 5 yards for a touchdown. Matching him up with Nico Collins. You had Ursery, you had Teller, Rutledge. They look sharp. They look sharp, cohesive on the game initial possession. They look sharp. It was some, like I said, it was some bright spots in the loss. You just didn't want that gap, and you didn't want that effort being dropped off and lacking. No swarm mentality. That's the disappointing part. Too many mistakes. Not setting the edge. Real big on this defense. Not letting running backs, quarterbacks break your containment and get on the outside. Defensive ends are too good. Now, I know we had them out in this game, but hey, next man up mentality. This defense has to be deep, and they have to be disciplined. Long and fall. Injuries happen. Players need rest. We talked about all of this with this defense and the depth of this team. The effort should have been there, should have been a closer game. Gave yourself an opportunity down the stretch, but not a team to wipe the field with you on an opening preseason game with all the expectations, all the hype circulating this football team. You sit back and you've been waiting all this time for some football. All you hear is the Texans are ready. Defense is nasty, upgraded even from last year. How crazy that sounds. Gonna be even better this year. Offense is back on tack. So when you hear all that, man, you're licking your chops. You can't wait to hit the field, preseason or not. Let's see what we got. And then you go out there and certain players look lost, late reacting, too many receivers cutting loose. And we already know Graham Mertz went out. I think he's out indefinitely, ain't he? What, he got, a ACL? Torn ACL? Texans came real close. Having to throw Davis Mills back out there in the fire after losing Mertz. At that point, you damn near put him in harm's way already. Got that little fumble. I don't know, man. Look, at that point, the game was lost, the way I look at it. Hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off. Get to the next preseason game. Anything crazy happens with Davis Mills, definitely sets this team back. You definitely on eggshells for the rest of the season. If any major injury would have happened to Davis Mills, having him come back out there. You got to have a running back or somebody to come in as a quarterback to keep your second string guy out of there after he's already played. He already played. And I know that you only had, 3 on the roster. C.J. Stroud wasn't going to play. Speaking of C.J. Stroud, we're going to get to C.J. Stroud. How about his new look? That's another story, but how about his new look? I'm going to tell you, I like it, though. We're going to get to it. So you got to have a running back. Somebody. Wide receiver. Somebody, emergency guy to come in there. Got to have a contingency plan, basically. Then a little bit of me said, when Davis Mills did come in there, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of me said, oh, shit, now Texans go ahead and win it now. Getting Davis Mills back for the rest of the game. Back up. Let's go score some points. No, that ain't really what happened. that ain't what happened. That's not what happened. More turmoil happened. And almost put this guy in some deep harm's way and could have got him injured or hurt. Texans just got to prepare better for that. They just got to prepare better. C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud is coming in with a whole new attitude. If y'all watched him on the sideline interacting with folks, even on the interview, he's walking with a different pep. He's even talking with a different tone. And I like this new C.J. what I'm seeing so far. Whether it translates to success on the field, we don't know that yet until they take the field. First game of the regular season, when it really counts. That's the only way we'll know. But so far leading up to it, him getting them dreads out his head, looking more clean cut. You heard him. His family, they know him as this CJ. They seen him like this before. So it makes me believe CJ is going back to how he used to be, where it all started. Looks like he's a little superstitious. He got rid of the dreads. He's walking and talking different. He's not giggling and laughing all the time. You don't see that. Seems like on the sideline, they was trying to crack a few jokes. He give him a little smirk here and there, but he seems about business. This new CJ, I'm starting to like already. Clean cut CJ. We might have a superstar in the making here. Am I crazy? Am I jumping the gun? Am I losing my mind? Am I? I don't know. We're going to give him one more go. And I like what I see and hear from CJ Stroud. I do. But back on these Texans, it was disappointing out. All right? It really was. And what DeMeco Ryan say?
It was not our brand of football.
Not our brand of football. He knows it. Sometimes you can feel it and see it off the jump. So what I'm expecting, who they playing next? It's the Raiders. I think it's the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. Mark my words. And anybody can anticipate this. Getting out physical, DeMeco Ryans, it doesn't happen. And I'll be damned it happened twice. Those guys are going to come out. I don't even know who's playing. Might throw a few starters out there. It's only 3 preseason games. He can pull them all out on the third one, or he can sprinkle a little bit in there on the second one. But I don't care who's out there. It could be the same group from preseason 1. These guys are going to be flying around. They're going to show a lot more energy. They're going to be a little more steadfast, and they're going to be looking to win a game, causing havoc no matter who's out there. They should be woke up by now. I know DeMeco went in there and he really gave it to him. He was disappointed. They should be disappointed by the effort. Like we always say, don't worry about no wins and losses. We know what preseason's about. Getting something on film. Looking at some guys. Seeing what you got. Who's staying, who's going. But the approach has to be there. That same approach has to be there. Swarm. Our brand. It has to be there. Don't care about no wins and losses, no preseason. But it's about how you lose as well in the preseason. You don't want to get blowed out. You don't want to be outworked. You want to even Stevens and see what happens down the last minute or seconds in the fourth quarter. You lose that way. Let me look at this box sheet real quick before we get out of here. But yeah, it was disappointing. But we always got to look at it and say, oh, preseason. We can say that too, but you have to be concerned after that kind of performance, though. That's all we're saying. That kind of performance. We didn't expect that type of performance, even in preseason. So it can shake you up a little bit, have you concerned. But it is preseason. Doesn't mean that's it. All hell breaking loose now. They ain't gonna build back up from this. No, we're not saying that. That's not gonna happen. Well, let's take a peek at this real quick before we head on out. But Houston Texans, yeah, they fell 27-7. Got that early touchdown and couldn't do nothing after that. Yeah, man, that was disappointing to look at that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, me personally, Just me personally. I like to win all preseason games too. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I still be trying to will them to victory, even though it don't look good out there. Don't matter who's out there. You just like to see your score above the other teams when that clock hits zero. That's just the way I am, where I'm wired, preseason or not. I just like the look of it, the feel of it. But I also understand you can't win them all, and it's preseason. It's preseason. But I just believe in feeling good is feeling good, man. Feeling good. I'd rather come out of a game in a preseason, whatever, just with a win. It just seems like you sleep better. Everybody's feeling good. Going into the next game. Let's see if we can get this one too. I don't care who's in there. Let's just find a way to pull it out. If we can pull it out, let's pull it out. So, like I say, Davis Mills, not bad at all, man. He came in slinging that thing around. Just a veteran, cool collective. He's been around a while now. And I know he wished he could start for the Texans or some other team before his career just nosedive out of age. And, I don't want to say he just booked in with the Texans for the rest of his career. You don't want that to happen to him. You want him to have an opportunity. And sooner or later, the Texans are going to have to look at this thing, and Davis Mills is going to have to look at this thing and say, look, love the Texans, love Houston, y'all drafted me. I love the city, but I got to have an opportunity. See what I can do leading the team. And you can't fault him for it when that time comes. He was 9 for 15, all right, 82 yards. Damn near 6, on average, 1 TD, but no picks. He's been sacked twice. The first outing was damn sure a lot better than the second outing, of course, him coming back in after the injury to Mertz. But played well, man. He played well. Very well. And you got a solid backup in Davis Mills in case something happens to CJ. That's a hell of an insurance policy. To have Davis Mills, who knows the system, who's been in Houston his whole career, comfortable, know exactly what they want. That's the guy you want backing up CJ Stroud. And old Trey Lance over there for the Chargers, boy, they was talking about him throughout the game, right? Talking about his promising career. He didn't look half bad, did he? Not half bad. He threw a pick, though. But he was 12 for 20. 164. 8.2 on average. Not bad himself. They got a good look at him. Running backs for the Texans, you got Winnington out there, 13 carries, 40 yards. Looking good, right? Looking real good. So you look at this thing, you say, okay, the rookies, they play well. You got to see something. Like I said, there was a lot of little bright spots out there. I know we highlighting Davis Mills and Wayne over here. But there was some other bright spots. Winnington out there did his thing. Kamari Ramsey got the pick. Some bright spots. And we can't forget about the Hogs. Okay? Ursi. Taylor. Rutledge. Ingram. Braden Smith. Preseason has begun. A lot of games now. Strolling out. I'm scouring through it all. Before we get out of here, what did DeMeco Ryan say?
It was not our brand of football.
Not our brand of football. Texans lights got turned off but somebody lit a candle. Let's see in preseason week 2 against the Las Vegas Raiders. They can get their power back on. Y'all be safe. Thanks for your time. We up out of here. Peace.